Hello everyone, myself Falguni Solanki. Welcome to our channel. Today we will learn a poem from our book Flamingo, poem number 3, Keeping Quiet. About the poet Pablo Neruda, his timing 1904 to 1973, is the pen name of Neftali Ricardo Reyes Bozalto, who was born in the town of Parral in Chile. Neruda's poems are full of easily understood images which make them no less beautiful. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. In this poem, Neruda talks about the necessity of quiet introspection and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. That poet presents that how the silence is important, and silence has its own language. There is no need of any language when you want to understand someone. And he also discussed the needs of maintaining peace and silence, and he stresses and he emphasizes upon being quiet and harmless to the human beings. Like we know, like if we speak something, definitely directly or indirectly we hurt someone. But Neruda said that, any poet says this, just keep silence. And if there is a being quietness and harmless to the human beings, animals and environment, he suggests that in order to maintain peace and harmony, it is required to stop and introspect ourselves. यानी कि know yourself before you pointing towards the others. Before you read, what does the title of the poem suggest to you? What do you think the poem is about? So according to you, what is, like, just the title? Before we discuss the theme, just with the title, do you have any idea that exactly the poem about or the poem theme? Okay, just think. Let's start our poem. Here you can say this. There is a picture of our earth, and there is human-like picture with that leaves and branches. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Narrator says that poet says everyone to count up to 12 in their mind. Why 12? Because number 12 represents the 12 hours in a day and 12 months in a year. And we will all keep still. Still यानी कि peace, calm. And he, यानी कि poet, also wants that all of us must be calm and still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Further, he also said that as we know, like as a nation, as a citizen of one nation, we must be united. यानी कि we must be live together. So there is no need to speak their own languages. If, as example, we are living in India, we have many states, and every state has their own language. But that poet says that as a nation we have to live together, and there is no need to speak your own language. Rather, they also must be keep silence, must be quiet, and they speak the language of silence. There is let not speak any language. Let's stop for a second. यानी कि just speak the language of humanity. Just maintain the silence because silence has its own language. And definitely this will bring equality and unity as the humans, the face of the earth. यानी कि जो earth है उसका face of कौन है? तो human है, हम लोग हैं. And not move our arms so much. यानी कि यहाँ पे poet कह रहे हैं कि for at least one moment, just for क्या ना यहाँ पे just for a second, यानी कि just for a moment, no one shall move his arms. Why no one shall move his arms? तो arm to signal, to fight or to argue with each other. किसी के साथ लड़ना नहीं है, झगड़ना नहीं है, सिर्फ just for a moment हम लोगों को just a second के लिए silence maintain करनी है. वापस देखते हैं यहाँ तक पूरा कि पोएट एग्जैक्टली क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं. सो पोएट यहाँ पे एज अ रीडर्स और हम लोगों को व्यूअर्स को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि एवरीवन टू काउंट टिल 1 to 12. And why this? After 12 there is our own mind, and stop for a while. Maybe this 12 referred to, as I said, that hours of the day or the month of a year, and or he also wants that everyone to stop and calm down, and he urges everyone not to speak their own language but just speak the language of silence. It will teach us many things, and even we shouldn't raise our arms for arguing, for fight, for to prove ourselves right. Just keep silence for a moment or for a second. And so basically we can say that the poet want or demanding the peace from all of us. It would be an exotic moment. Without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Further, the poet says that when everyone will be stand still, यानी कि everyone accept this silence, this peace, then it will be a rare situation. ऐसा कभी होगा कि like पूरे जगह पे like एकदम silence हो. Wow, what like we cannot imagine how its world or the place look if everyone is stand still there. So it would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. Poet says that no one will be in rush, no one will be in hurry, no one will be in engines running, यानी कि no one be in like eager to live that rapid and fast life. Everyone will, we would all be together, यानी कि everyone will be calm and quiet and united with each other in this strange atmosphere when there is everyone is unaware about the language they speak, but still there is a silence, and silence has its own language, and everyone is there. No person would be harming any other living being, either for food or harm in their livelihood. Sudden strangeness यानी कोई किसी को वहाँ पे harm नहीं कर रहा है, कोई किसी को like tease नहीं कर रहा है, nothing. All the people who works endlessly will get some time to took or spend some time with themselves, ourselves. अगर वहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग हैं तो सबको टाइम मिलेगा कि खुद के साथ वक्त बिताओ, खुद दूसरों को क्यों हम लोग इंजर कर रहे हैं, किसी को क्यों हम हर्ट कर रहे हैं, जस्ट बिकॉज हमारे पास वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है. तो यहाँ पे रुको, सोचो, कुछ मत बोलो, जस्ट आपका जो दिमाग है उसको साइलेंट रखो. सो यहाँ वापस देखते हैं कि एग्जैक्टली द पर्पज ऑफ पोएट टू राइट दिस पोएम. The poet says that it would be a rare situation that when we can see or feel that complete silence around us, and it will be a very different moment if all the engines like the vehicles and machines stops. Then there will be a sudden and strange situation in the world with experience a sudden calmness. यार चलो मान लो कहीं पर काम कर रहे हो या कहीं पर रह रहे हो तो सारे व्हीकल्स है, सारे लाइक मशीनरी सब कुछ बंद हो जाए तो वाव व्हाट लाइक कंप्लीटली स्टिलनेस होगी, वहाँ पे कंप्लीटली पीस होगा. तो नरेटर एग्जैक्टली यहाँ पे भी वही मांग रहे हैं लोगों से. पीपल विल नॉट बी रश टू अचीव मटेरियल थिंग्स, पीपल विल नॉट इन हरी टू रीच फॉर द वर्क. एंड फर्दर द पोएट ऑल्सो सेज दैट द यहाँ पे लिखा है फिशरमैन इन द कोल्ड सी would not harm whales and the men gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. कि जो फिशरमैन है वो किसी फिश को हर्ट नहीं करेंगे, क्यों? बिकॉज द वर्क ऑफ फिशरमैन इज कैचिंग द फिश. इफ द फिशरमैन विल नॉट विजिट द सी देन डेफिनेटली दे विल नॉट हर्ट फिश एंड दे ऑल्सो नॉट हर्ट एनी whales. एंड द मैन गैदरिंग सॉल्ट वुड लुक एट हिज हर्ट हैंड्स. जो इंसान है, जो लोग लाइक एंडलेसली वर्क किया करते हैं, दे हैड सम टाइम टू लुक एट देयर इंजरीज एंड द डैमेज दे हैव कॉज टू देयर डेड बॉडीज़. यानी कि जो पूरा अर्थ है उनको जो उन लोगों ने डैमेज किया है उनको देखने का भी उनको वक्त मिलेगा. जो आगे पोएट कह रहे हैं कि फॉर द फिशरमैन के विल स्टॉप एंड नॉट हार्म whales in the sea. And this means that poet urging them that not to harm any animals just because of their own selfish purpose. And here the poet also says that present the example of whales because fishermen hunted or killed them for their own purpose, for their own food or their trade. So people must be live calm and stop just for a moment and see what they have achieved or lost. Just for example, poet says that man who gathers salt and whose hands are hurt. Here he wants everyone to be stopped for a while in order to hurt yourself. इन सब लोगों ने कहाँ पे खुद को hurt किया है? You hurt yourself. Just stop and see कि आप जो कर रहे हो, जिसमें आप भाग रहे हो, कहीं आप खुद को तो नहीं hurt कर रहे हो ना? In third stanza में poet कह रहे हैं, those who prepare green wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, world put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. नरेटर क्या बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे? मीन्स पोएट आगे कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे the people who exploit the green wealth, green wars मतलब यहाँ पे जो green wealth है, हमारी जो prosperity है, nature है, they are exploiting it by deforestation or mining or fishing in the deep seas, and the soldiers who also use weapons, missiles, and they kill millions of people, and all this just create the destroyal of nature, the prosperity of land. और इसके रिजल्ट भी आपको क्या मिलेगा? इट विल गिव यू हैप्पीनेस, इट विल गिव यू पीस? नो, डेफिनेटली नॉट. एंड victory with no survivors would put all clean clothes and walk about this their own brothers. Like the poets wants that them to put on new clothes, like example, to adopt a new approach towards life and to realize that killing is of people is not a victory, it's not a peace, it's give you just guilt and frustration. यानी कि पोएट कह रही कि आप जो क्लोथ्स पुट ऑन करते हैं और आपके ब्रदर्स की तरफ जाओ, उनके साथ फ्रेंडशिप करो, ना कि दुश्मनी, ना कि अपनी एनिमी को ख़त्म करो वहाँ पे. इन द सेड नथिंग डूइंग नथिंग, आपको लास्ट में क्या मिलेगा? नथिंग. आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. यूनाइटेड वी स्टैंड, डिवाइडेड वी फॉल. लाइक अगर आपको यूनाइटेड बन के रहना है तो जस्ट फॉरगेट योर एनिमीज, जस्ट फॉरगेट दैट योर ब्रदर, वेरी ओन ब्रदर, वेरी नेक्स्ट कंट्री इज़ योर एनिमी. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. So यहाँ पे नरेंद्र आगे क्या कर रहे हैं कि it's promoting brotherhood, peace and equality विथ टोटल इनएक्टिविटी, यानी कि जो हम लोग गलत कर रहे हैं वो सब कुछ हम लोगों को बंद करना है. वॉट आई वॉन्ट शुड नॉट बी कन्फ्यूज्ड. लाइक पोएट बोले कि जो आई वॉन्ट दैट ब्रदरहुड, आई वॉन्ट पीस, आई वॉन्ट इम्यूनिटी. इट्स नॉट एनी कन्फ्यूजिंग थिंग. यू हैव टू स्टॉप योर एक्शन विच यू डू टू क्रिएटिंग दैट हार्म टू ह्यूमन बीइंग. एंड poet also said that he doesn't want us to stop our works but to take some time and analyze the result of our deeds. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. कहीं मैं खुद को आपको रोकने के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ ये बोल रहा हूँ कि आप लोग कुछ भी काम करो वो करो बट with new approach of life. And the new approach definitely is give you peace and lead you how to live. And he also says that you should treat your enemies like brothers and promotes peace and harmony in the world. In the fourth stanza, like as you can see that there is a full stop, so it is end of third stanza. Now in fourth stanza, if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So narrator यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं? फर्स्ट लाइन है यहाँ पे, if we were not so single minded, कि if all human beings work endlessly with the aim of completing all their tasks about keeping our lives moving, और हम लोग के पास क्या है? We are just driven by the target of survival and the threat of the death. कि नहीं यार मुझे ये करना है, मुझे जाने से पहले ये करना है, मुझे जाने से पहले वो करना है. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. Perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. पोएट क्या बोल रहे हैं कि जो हम लोग पागलों की तरह दौड़ रहे हैं, वी आर रसिंग टू कंपनीज ऑल देयर वर्क, एंड ही सेड दैट इफ देयर इज अ पॉज फॉर अ वाइल they can appreciate the achievements what we get, might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and threatening ourselves with death. कि अगर शायद हम कुछ टाइम के लिए रुक जाए तो हम लोगों को पता चलेगा हम लोगों ने क्या अचीव किया है, हम लोगों ने पूरी लाइफ से क्या पाया है। लेकिन हम लोग तो क्या है, बस भागते रहते हैं, पूरे टाइम भागते रहते हैं। सो वापस देखते हैं इस स्टैंजा में पोएट क्या बोल रहे हैं हम लोगों को कि जस्ट क्लासीफाई टू us, यानी कि readers, that when we ask them to stop for saying or doing anything, the poet not saying that just be like non-active person. He just want to say that just find or manage few free time for you. In that free time you can enjoy your achievement, your success, and you can also think about your future. You are not just running behind the thing that I want to achieve this and that. Just think that is it really useful to you, because all the time materialistic thinking is not important, material thing is not important. Sometimes your peace, sometimes quietness, sometimes stillness in your life is also important, because the sadness of not enjoying what we have achieved and the greed to achieve what next is in the list to be achieved. हम लोग ऐसे ही ना, because we have decided that I want this, जब हम लोग वहाँ पे पहुँच जाते हैं, हम लोगों ने वो अचीव कर लिया होता है, we again think that no it's just like comma, I need more. यानी कि हमारे लोगों की डिज़ायर कभी ख़त्म ही नहीं होती, हम लोग ऑलवेज लाइक दिल मांगे मोर चलता ही रहता है हम लोगों का। In fifth stanza, perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and nature proves to be live. Now I will count up to 12, and now you keep quiet and I will go. So the narrator again said that perhaps the earth can teach us when everything seems dead. के साथ जो earth है undergoes like changes. In winter everything freezes, it becomes lifeless, but after some time the season change again. We feel that monsoon, during the monsoon there is a rain every time, there is a flood, drought, but once again the season change, there is a summertime, there is a hotness, and after some time again the season change. यानी कि poet says that perhaps the earth can teach us what is important in our life, because nothing is permanent, it will change with the time. So it's same thing like taking a pause and introspecting into ourselves and our life, that it gives a new meaning to us. बस हम लोग पागल की तरह बस काम किए जाए. We need one recreational trip जो हम लोगों को कुछ एनर्जी दे, हम लोग विथ बैंग वापस अपने काम पे जा सकें और बहुत अच्छी तरह से खुद को और खुद के डिज़ायर्स, खुद की जो अचीवमेंट्स उसको एंजॉय करें और नए गोल को सेट करें. पागलों की तरह कहीं भी भागना नहीं है. और वी विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द पर्पज ऑफ आवर ओन लाइफ, लाइक लेट इट प्रूव्स टू बी अलाइव, एंड इट विल बी लाइक अ रीबर्थ ऑफ द सोल. नाउ द पोएट ऑल्सो conveyed to all the people the purpose of written this poem, and so he asked them that once again to take a rest, count till 12. यहाँ बोला ना, I will count to 12, and walks out of the scene, keeping the scene open for all the people on the earth to exercise or experience this full time to come. So this one, whatever the poet wants at the end of the lesson, still वो बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे कि जो human beings हैं, we should learn a lesson from earth. As you know, like during the winter time season change हो जाती है, monsoon होता है, season change हो जाती है, लेकिन after one season definitely there is a new one. The same thing हमारी लाइफ में भी कुछ भी परमानेंट नहीं है. तो जो हम लोगों ने जो भी डीड्स किए हैं, मतलब जो भी हम लोगों ने काम किए हैं, उनके बारे में हमको सोचना चाहिए और फिर आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. तो पोएट बोल रहे हो कि आपको वापस यहाँ पे 12 तक काउंट करो और देखो कि आपको क्या चाहिए. वो लास्ट में बोलते हैं एंड यू विल कीप क्वाइट एंड आई विल गो, कि आई विल गो. ही सेज सो एज ही हैज़ कन्वेड हिज मैसेज टू द पीपल एंड वॉन्ट्स दैम टू बी लेफ्ट अलोन टू थिंक अबाउट इट. पोएट बोला कि मैंने तो 12 तक काउंट कर लिया, आप भी काउंट करो, एंड देन थिंक द डायरेक्शन ऑफ पीस, वो कहाँ पे शांति मिलेगी वो आपको खुद ही ढूंढना है. सो दिस वन इज द एंड ऑफ द पोएम एंड द पोएट्स present his point of view to us, how it is useful to us, we have to decide. After poem there is a word that to have no truck with, it means to refuse to associate or deal with, to refuse to tolerate something. So this is the end of our poem. We have done 4 questions here. The first one is what will counting up to 12 and keeping still help us achieve. जो पोएट ने हम लोगों को बोला है कि 12 तक काउंट करना है, कीप स्टिल, इट विल गिव्स अस सम टाइम टू एनालाइज अवर डीड्स, टू थिंक अबाउट अवर अचीवमेंट्स, टू एंजॉय अवर अचीवमेंट्स, एंड ऑल्सो टेक सम टाइम टू बिफोर वी क्रिएट अवर न्यू गोल्स और अचीवमेंट्स. Second one is, do you think the poet advocates the total inequality, activity and death? तो मैं बोलूँगी no, the poet doesn't advocate that total inactivity and death. पोएट जस्ट हम लोग को बोल रहे हैं कि ही क्लासिफाइज दैट दिस इज अ पोएम दैट ही वॉन्ट्स ऑल द पीपल टू जस्ट स्टॉप फॉर अ वाइल एंड थिंक अबाउट देयर एक्टिविटीज एंड अबाउट देयर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज. ही ओनली वॉन्ट्स दैट ह्यूमन बींग्स नॉट टू सपोर्ट वॉर and damage environment, but he must be protect the nature. In third one is, what is the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem? Here sadness means the result of our own action and deeds. If we did bad in our past, then definitely as a result we get nothing good in future or present. In our life we have various tasks to do, and this does something proves dangerous for us. So poet says that first of all analyze your work, your achievements, and then go with it. These problems can become the reason for all sadness and referred in the poem. जो हमारे deed है वही हमारे लिए sadness create कर सकती है. The fourth one is that what symbol from nature does the poet invoke to say that there can be a life under apparent stillness. So poet here present the example of earth to prove that there can be a life under apparent stillness. If there is a earth, there is a natural things are there, and still it's all the things are silent, like river, pond, trees, mountain, sea, all things. And we should also experience the change in the season, which brings so many things in our life, but after one time is also end. So end of the answer, the poet wants to convey that we should stay calm, but doesn't mean that it will bring total inequality and stillness. हम लोगों को calm रहना है, inactive नहीं होना है. So students, this we have 4 questions and we already discussed the answers of this question. I hope it will be useful to you in examination also. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this poem. Keep watching our channel. Thank you.